Hey, hello, welcome into some new Trench Crusade lore, right? Sinners and non-sinners, heretics and non-heretics. Here we are with some new Trench Crusade lore. Now, this design, I gotta say, looks awesome. I love the design. This is absolute peak design off the bat. This looks awesome. So there's a new thing here. I wanted to get into it, want to cover it. As always, I'm interested in this lore, where it's going, all that. The Goethic Warlock is one of Hell's most prized constructions. It's a construction. That's interesting. All right. Well, with that being said, I think it's about time we get into it and see what more there is to learn about this, because I'm actually invested in this. So, that being said, let's get right into it.
They wonder what happens to the prisoners of hell, to the poor unfortunates that they take alive from the battlefield, those too miserably cursed by chance to not die from their wounds and instead be dragged away into the dark by infernal forces bent only on inflicting suffering. Most will be met by a fate that is too disturbing to transcribe, yet sadly all too easy to imagine. But a handful, the most devout, the most faithful, those with the highest of trust in the militant Christ the Lion, they will be made an example of, turned into weapons the like of which no mortal could consider permissible. Some might even be the target of such a fate by hell, specifically hunted down, torn from their homes, their families left slaughtered, as an insult to the Almighty. The heretics will target priests, prophets, vicars, rectors, and monks, and all the damned know that there are large bounties placed on such people, no matter what the bloody cost of capturing them. These souls that are designated as worthy by the princes of hell.
You're this devoted, you're this holy. There's this being of we see you as a big prize. You know, why are we going after you, even though you technically have no feats? Because you're that faithful, and we're gonna hunt you down, kill your family, and turn you into this. It's crazy. Oh, that sucks.
They will undergo the brutal and torturous process of becoming a Goethic Warlock. This is a process that involves years of pain, suffering, treachery, manipulation, and punishment. It is bad news for those of the firmest of faith that they fall under the special jurisdiction of Hell's most talented biopriests, those skilled in the arts of rune writing, metallurgy, and demonic construction. Before that, they will end up in the grasp of skilled flesh shapers, creatures of hell who can visit Earth, capable of focusing incredible infernal powers in order to torture mortals in ways none would have deemed possible until the opening of the gates of Inferno. The process begins while the victim is still on the earthly plane. These poor creatures will find themselves distorted and twisted into shapes beyond the constraints of what you could consider human. Bones and muscles are stretched and pulled, and the flesh is cut deeply, and their soul is inflicted with agony. They will be brought to the very brink of death, their mind assailed by images of endless suffering before being fully healed by the energies of the flesh shapers.
God, oh, that sucks. Imagine getting no. And we already know hell itself in this world is horrible to even get near. It's horrible to even go in it. And imagine, you're already agony just being there. And then on top of that, they're torturing you to turn you into this.
And torturers do not need tools of iron or steel with which to inflict these pains, and instead can do it all by channeling energy from the hellish ley lines that radiate outward into the world from the gates of Inferno.
I was like, I'd secretly try to, no, that technically wouldn't work. I was like, I'd secretly try to bite my tongue off so I die a blood loss, but I'm like, one, they could heal you, but I was like, if you could do it secretly, maybe they wouldn't notice. But then two, technically, that would be a sin, and technically, you'd still end up in hell, so there really is no out. There really is no out. Oh, that sucks. Almost sounds like Cenobite conversion. It sounds like some kind of conversion. Look at this.
This process will continue until madness from the pain drives the poor soul to agree to a demonic pact. Forced to turn away from the light of heaven by this sheer primordial need to make the intricate and exquisite patterns of pain that they have been afflicted with stop. They will often be lulled into acquiescence in their moments of greatest weakness with promises that the pain shall end, that merely turning their back on God is enough to buy them station and importance in hell. It might seem madness that the truly devout could be broken and swayed in such a way, but the pain they will have endured will have been incredible, lasting for weeks or sometimes even months on end. Sadly, like all things involving hell, all words and promises are as dust on the desert wind, and they find themselves cast into affliction cages and dragged deep into the inferno to the death factories of the third circle.
Had
they managed to withstand their earthly suffering, eventually death could have claimed them when the flesh shapers eventually grew tired of their games. But now...
Wow, look at this. Oh, that's so cool. I love this design. Oh, it looks so awesome. Oh, wow. Look at the fingers and the cape in the back, or the lower cape. Oh, this is so cool. I love this design so much. Oh, I'm gonna say that over and over again, but I think this is my favorite design so far.
Having turned from God and made a pact with the demonic, their soul belongs to hell forever. Upon arrival at the death factories, they are transferred deep below the cracked and charred surfaces of hell to the experimental biochambers beneath, where their true suffering begins. First, the soon-to-be warlocks are forced to learn the fundamentals of the dark magics of hell. Each potential spell to be cast and manipulation to be wrought requires a channel through the body of the warlock. This is achieved via the worst imaginable method, as they are locked within the Goethic kilns. Here, each layer of skin, muscle, sinew and tendon is stripped away in increments, while the biopriests flood the chambers of the kiln with smoke from the burning parts of various demonic creatures. All the while, the flesh shaper magic continues to keep the suffering victim alive, experiencing now in hell a level of pain that dwarfs the memory of what they suffered whilst on earth. When the captive has been reduced to little more than bone, skeleton made impossibly hard by the primeval magic used in the reduction of a human being to magically reinforced char, they will make their second pact, or be sent forever into the boiling pits of hell, where they will know nothing but pain until the stars finally die in the night sky. Upon agreeing to become the walking shade of death known as the Goethic Warlock, that the fire of their pain will end, replaced instead with a brutal coldness and a complete removal from whatever finer elements of their mind and soul had made them human. They are now forever lost. The still living skeleton, still occupied by a once human soul and consciousness, is now locked into the monstrous suits of armour that seem to be designed to make a mockery of the human form. With enormous shoulder pads and elongated arms that end in twisted brutal talons, the Goethic Warlock sees a terrifying creature, and the surface of the armour is inscribed with the 72 sigils, countless runes, and endless verses from the demonic texts that the princes of hell themselves have authored. It is through these channels that the magic of hell flows, travelling deep into the armour to the very bones themselves, and granting the warlock its power. The reason why hell values these warlocks so much, and is willing to put in such time and energy into their creation, is that the process produces a spiritual opposite to the original victim. Where once there was only faith and belief in the Almighty, there is now a cold, deep-seated hatred for both Creator and creation. Goethic Warlocks are some of Hell's most proficient hunters and killers, perhaps the rarest of all the creatures that Satan has to send against the forces of good in the world.
So if you see it, you're screwed.
To be looked upon by a Goethic Warlock is to be instantly inflicted with its necrotic gaze, the flesh decaying and rotting away from the body wherever its eyes fall. as
Is
creatures
that
born of
and
suffering and pain.
is that
they take
an analogy, or does it literally have a death stare? That imagine if it doesn't have a death stare, then that's crazy.
great pleasure in inflicting it on others. The warlocks are capable of creating folds and pockets in potentiality where they can drag their victims using their long iron claws to shred them to pieces as slowly as they please, safe in the knowledge that nothing else can possibly reach them in the ripples that exist along the very edges of existence. Being creatures of such intense rarity means that
Dimension
only the most favoured of Hell's forces will get access to them for their part in the war efforts. They will be used to hunt down troublesome enemy commanders, bring back relics that have been lost on the battlefield, and upon occasion have even been used to administer punishment to those infernal loyalists who have deemed to have failed their commanders. They say that the commander who failed to take the final garrison of New Antioch in 1545, thus allowing humanity to keep a vital foothold and rebuild an immense fortress in the Levant, was tortured for 60 days and nights by 2 flesh shapers and a Goethic Warlock. A uniquely disturbing fate, even among those who fail the Lords of Hell. It is also said that should you ever come face to face with a Goethic Warlock, then you have seen the very face of Hell itself, and the only option left to you is to run. If the Warlock gets close enough, there will be no other option. You will have to risk it all and fight, placing all your faith in the Lord, all while hoping it is not that very same fate that has attracted the forces of Hell in the first place.
True. All right, that was good. I enjoyed that one. Wow. All right. You know what? I always find something to enjoy out of these. I'm not gonna lie. There's always much to enjoy with these ones. Because I'm enjoying this world building I'm seeing live, pretty much, you know, and it's very interesting to say the least. Honestly, I gotta say, I think that's my new favorite. I think that's my new favorite. I think I could confidently say, I think that's my favorite model design, and I wouldn't say lore, but definitely design and looking one. That's the coolest one, I think. I think that one's great. The lore's alright, good enough for me to say I'm confident with saying that's my favorite. Anyways, as always, the original video will be down in the description, and I do record this all live on Twitch, so if you want to be part of the madness, go ahead and follow me there. And I do not forget to do like and subscribe, and I do upload twice daily, so hit the notification bell to get notification on those. But besides all that, that's gonna be all. See you guys later. Bye bye, YouTube. Bye bye, my lost souls.